guys, this is Andrew Holmes from Chicago Rehab. One of the most often asked questions. Well, Andrew, where do I start? Or even better, how do I fast track my success? Or how do I get to where you're at quickly? Well, guess what? That's the $1 million question, right? How do I fast track my success? And, it's been an interesting question because I started this journey for me at the age of about 15 or 16, which is how do I build wealth? How do I get rich? At the time, I didn't kind of think quite of money in terms of wealth. I thought the car, the house, the typical thing that most people, most boys are 16, 17 years old are thinking is, man, how do I get there quickly, right? And, today, at the age of 42 or 43, my perspective at this whole thing has changed. And I'm going to kind of look at it in a little bit more logical way rather than how a 15 or 16-year-old would look at. So if you think about this, right, most people go to college or they may have a trade or career or something they are passionate about that they choose to do. And then they get a job or they become self-employed. And what happens is they're doing that one thing. And the thing today is they have to be positive, they have to have high energy, they have to have all those characteristics to try to be able to make it through the job, hopefully get a promotion. That's kind of the course. Yet, when it comes to building wealth, and especially when it comes to doing fast track real estate, which is how in the shortest amount of time do I get to a certain point where I have a amount of wealth, not just earned income, but wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is, so let's imagine it takes you $6,000 to live on. And you're not rich, but you're comfortable at that level. If you have $6,000 coming in every single month from a job or from doing a flip or from doing a wholesale, if you're trading your hours to earn income, doesn't matter what you do. So let me repeat that. If you're trading your hours to earn income, we will say you may be just above broke, or you may be rich in relation to, let's say, your neighbor. Your neighbor makes $80,000, you make $100,000, so you are richer in relation to your neighbor in terms of your paycheck. But if he spends $80,000 and you spend $100,000 at the end of the year, guess what the net worth is for both people at the end of the year? Zero. Just happens to be that your paycheck is a little bit higher. So when I'm talking about today's topic, and that is fast track your investing, I'm talking about wealth. How do I, in the quickest period of time, build wealth with real estate? So let's kind of put a time perspective on time. By time, what I mean is I'm going to take, when it comes to doing wholesales and flips, I'm going to take about a year into account in terms of time. This is not going to be a 30-day process. This is not going to be a 45-day process. Typically, to become a wholesaler and do good at it, it's going to require a few months. If you're going to do a flip, it's going to require a minimum of 4 months to 6 months to start from zero and be able to do a flip. To be a successful landlord or to be a successful owner of cash flow or rental properties, again, to have 3 or 4 properties is going to require about 6 months to a year. Relatively very quick. Guys, in real estate, 100% you can become a millionaire in real estate literally in 2 years. What is $1 million? Not something $1 million in your bank account. What $1 million, a real estate millionaire is somebody who has, if you take net assets minus net liabilities, the difference between the two. So you have net assets in the value of $2 million and you have net liabilities in the value of $1 million. That is a millionaire in terms of assets. So let's think about whether it is better for you to do wholesales, whether it's better for you to do flips, and whether it's better for you to buy cash flow or rental properties. Well, what we have to start with is think about who are you, what is your age, and not age that if you're older, you have to do a certain thing versus where are you in terms of your life? Are you somebody who's just in college or are you pre-college or are you somebody who has a good stable job? Because just because you are at a certain place in your life doesn't mean that you always have to start with wholesales. See, what we know is this, that who can do wholesales and what do you need for wholesales? See, wholesales, we always divide everything in the following basis. Number one, time. How much time do you have? Number two, what is the level of motivation that you have to do a particular task? Number three is going to be, what is the level of knowledge that you have? Number four is going to be, do you have any money to start with? Not that you need money to start with, but if you say, Andrew, today I'm dead broke, absolutely dead broke. And I'm very positive, I'm very fired up. Man, I'm a really hard worker. And in a year, I'm going to be a real estate millionaire. Now, that's like saying, I'm going to go chase rainbows. Not saying that once in a while people don't win the lottery. But if I was to put a statistical odds against it, if there is a lottery ticket for sale, you choose to buy it, maybe spend $1 or $2, it's okay. But statistically, the statistical odds are 99.999999% against you that you're probably not going to hit. And if I made that statement, I hope you'd be okay with it. See, it's the same way with real estate. Not that you cannot be a real estate millionaire. Believe me, in 2 years or less, you can reach that mark. But there has to be a realistic set of time frame put to it, a realistic set of things that you need. So we said time, motivation, knowledge, money, credit. The next thing is, do you have rehab abilities? And then the last thing is it earned income versus is it wealth? So EI stands for earned income versus wealth. See, because when you say fast track, what I want to know is this. Do you want to fast track to earning a living, which is having income to put food on the table? Or are we fast tracking towards wealth? See, these are two different things. What I mean by that is this. And I'll take examples of, say, 3 people. I'll take somebody who drives an Uber. Let's take somebody who's a school teacher. And let's take somebody who's a lawyer or a doctor, right? What is the difference between the 3? Now, if I was to make a statement that a doctor is richer than a school teacher, you would probably say, well, yeah, generally it would be true. And a teacher generally would be considered probably more stable than somebody driving Uber. That, I think, if I made that general statement, most people would agree with me. But yet, if an Uber driver works really, really, really hard, puts in a lot of hours, can he make $80,000? Yes. Can a teacher be paid $80,000? Yes. Are there doctors that make $80,000 to $100,000? Yes. Now, are they richer or poorer? See, their earned income is ballpark the same. Maybe the doctor works extra. He may make $150,000. That's earned income. So if somebody is what we call, quote unquote, investing in real estate, a lot of times people will do a wholesale property. People will do flips. And let's say this year they made $150,000. Is that wealth building or is that earned income? See, I'm going to challenge you to understand the concept of wealth building versus earned income. Earned income is that income that you have to go to work for all the time, and you have to keep trading your hours to keep earning. Nothing wrong with it. A lot of athletes that make millions of dollars, a lot of actors that make millions of dollars, they may have a very high, substantial earned income. See, my question to you is this. What are the chances of a normal human being like you or I making millions of dollars in earned income? Not that you shouldn't try to. You should try to do that. Yet, the chances of that happening are very, very, very low. See, the chances of us building $1 million, $2 or $3 million in wealth portfolio is extremely high compared to earning $1 million. This is a very hard concept for most people to understand. And I know if you're somebody, especially if you're somebody who is a logical person, will say, well, Andrew, that makes no sense. How is it possible that I can have $1 million, $2 million, $4 million in assets, but not $1 million or $2 million in income? Guys, for most people, the average US millionaire is a millionaire at the age of somewhere around 55 to 62. And you realize that never in their life ever have they made anywhere close to more than maybe 100 to 200,000 bucks. See, it's much easier to use some leverage, to use real estate to build wealth than it is to build an earned income. So what is the difference? See, if you're somebody who wants to do wholesales, my question to you is going to be are you looking for earned income or are you looking for wealth? So let's say you are a school teacher and you say, well, Andrew, I want to invest in real estate. My question to you is going to be that do you, number one, have the time? Do you have any motivation? Do you have the knowledge? But I'm going to assume that since you're asking the question, you do have the motivation. So for all three, we're going to mark off that you do have the motivation to do all of this. Number two, you're going to say, well, something, I have to teach at school and I'm not done until about 4:30 or so. So pretty much 200 days or 250 days, whatever the school is open, those days I can't take phone calls during school time. I have to teach. I'm a school teacher. And till about 3:30 or 4 o'clock every single day, I'm occupied. But yet, I'm 45 years old. And not only am I going to get a decent teacher's pension, but on top of that, I want to accumulate $1 million in wealth. Or let's say I want to have $2 million in wealth over the next 5 years. That's the time limit you put yourself. So what we said is our goal in that particular case for you as the teacher is to accumulate wealth. If your goal is to accumulate wealth, what I'm going to try to say to you is, listen, the thing you need to focus on is building cash flow, is building a rental portfolio of properties. And that's going to get you to your $2 million the quickest possible way. So what you do is this. See, because a lot of times people will say, well, I'm a school teacher. What if this year I just did another 5 flips? Well, if you did 5 flips this year, guess what you're going to do? You're not going to build wealth. What's going to happen is you're going to build an additional income because of earned income. So what you did is not only did you teach in school, on top of that, maybe in the evening or maybe at the end of on the weekends, you were out looking for properties, you were out chasing contractors, you were out at Home Depot and buying materials. And what you were doing is you made 80,000 bucks as a school teacher. On top of that, you made another 100,000 bucks doing flips. Nothing wrong with it. Very respectable living. You're like, Andrew, I went from doing 80,000 bucks to 180,000 bucks. How's that any different from doing wholesales? What if you just did maybe 8 or 10 wholesales and you made an additional 100,000 bucks? So that means that this year you made an additional 100,000 bucks. Maybe you paid an additional 20,000 in taxes. Your earned income was higher. My question to you is this. What was the goal? See, the goal was that you wanted to get to your goal of 2 million, right? If the goal is 2 million in assets versus what you did, which was do flips or do wholesales, what did that get you? Let's say you did that. You did 100,000 extra this year and 100,000 next year. That got you an additional $200,000 in income, right? It's a phenomenal increase for most people. But see, here's the difference between this. What would you have to do to make an additional 100,000 in year 3? You'd have to go back running on the treadmill, which is burning your weekends and in the evenings every day. The difference is this. This versus this is that if you accumulated 2 million in assets, rather than just having to go to work every single year hoping everything goes correctly, see, the 2 million in assets would make you, in terms of rental income, that would mean about 10 to 12 rental properties, and that every single month would make you an additional 5 to 6K a month. Now let me ask you this. So if I put here, would you rather have from running on a treadmill versus cash flow. Would you rather have 100K every year and keep running on the treadmill, versus would you rather have 60K coming in forever for 1 or 2 years worth of work? And on top of that, have a $2 million portfolio. Which would you pick? See, most people will pick this. Why? See, some people will keep trading their time to make additional money. And some people in that same moment in time will build wealth and they'll build a portfolio. See, the question you should be asking yourself is, what is the best choice for me? If the goal is fast tracking your success, number one, look at where do you start. Number two, look at what is your skill set. Number three, look at what are the sacrifices you're willing to make. And number four is, what are the techniques to get there? I wish we could share all the information about real estate in one silly video. See, that's not practical, and I hope that's not what you expect. The goal of our videos is not just to educate, but the goal of our videos is try to make you think, try to expand the mind, and try to think in a direction that most people don't think about. This is Andrew Holmes. It's about fast tracking your success. Thank you and have a great day.